Hey, how's it going?
Going good. How about you?
Good, good. So I have to know, where did this passion for martial arts like come into play? Because I knew you through obviously PEN15 and then Seth recommended you, but when I read your bio, I was like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I was very shy and very reserved, and I didn't like talking to people. My dad called me soft. Um, so he threw me into martial arts just as a way for me to build my confidence and just be more outgoing, and also, defend myself, because he knew growing up I wasn't going to be like, 6'3" or anything like that. So it was like a self-defense thing as well. But passion came from Power Rangers for sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. I wanted to try out like combat sports because I ended up picking up boxing and mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed it for a while, but then I went to a karate tournament that was in Minnesota, and I saw Leo Howard from Disney XD's kicking it, and he had just like transitioned into over to acting. And most people in the karate world will like head over into stunts, but he took like a completely different route, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
So
So
you obviously looked up to that, but how did your martial art experience actually like lead to you getting a role?
I was at a karate tournament, and his name is Mike Chad. He's a karate instructor, and he also plays like the Blue Power Ranger in one of the old series. And he saw me competing as like a blue belt in one of the tournaments. He's like, yo, you have to come like audition for this thing. I know the casting director. And I just ended up booking it out of nowhere. And I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. Neither did my
Right.
parents. We're just like, let's just go with the flow, see where it takes us. And it was only until like a couple of years later where I really started taking it seriously.
So what was it about being on set and like filming that or filming whatever project it was that kind of made you realize like actually acting is the thing that I want to pursue? What was it about being on set that made you realize that?
I think it was comedy. Um, a lot of the times on set, or at least like PEN15 too, you get to do some improv towards the end of a scene or at the beginning. They're just like, you know what, just be you. And I think that's probably the best part, because when you book a role, you kind of want to attach a part of yourself to that character. And when you're able to make people laugh, whether it's the people behind the camera or you're just getting good feedback from an audience, knowing that you're doing a good effort. Like I don't know, I like receiving praise from my parents. I think it's really rewarding.
You're
So
like, I don't care
yeah.
about the audience. I just want my parents to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I want people to enjoy my performance, but hearing it from my parents saying that doing a good job means a lot as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I
Mhm.
mean, you're still pretty young, obviously, but between your very first role and PEN15, there had been like quite a few things in there. Is there a behind the scenes moment, especially from your time on PEN15, because you're saying you loved comedy so much, and that was really a huge comedy moment for you? Anything that happened behind the scenes, like a funny moment or something that fans of yours or fans of the show might want to know about? I mean, here's the thing, as a fan myself, it's a hilarious show. I can only imagine the takes that weren't used or just like what it was like to be with those comedians when you're not filming. I feel like there's probably never like an off button on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're also like great people to like get advice from just because they have more experience in the business. But I think it was like the first time I met them, it was actually when I went in for like the chemistry. That was a callback, and I had no idea that they were going to be playing the actual 13 and 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
So when the first time I read them with them, I was like, "Are you guys like actually doing this?" I was in the room, and I mean, obviously, like it was still like it wasn't guaranteed that I was going to get the role. So I was like, just might as well ask, just so like I can somewhat prepare myself and just know what to expect. And yeah, I honestly like I didn't. It was hard for me to like pick up on like what was happening in the room. So yeah, I actually got to meet them on the callback, which was really cool too.
So when you went in for the auditioning process, basically all the way up until you got the role, Did you not know that they were going to be the main cast?
Well, the thing about this is it's not like I wasn't committed, but um I was also about to leave for France. Like the
Okay.
day I got the call was the day like we were heading to the airport. And my manager's like, "Hey, you got it. So now you're staying home. You're not going anywhere." And it was like a win-win situation. You know, I mean, France
Yeah.
is always going to be there. So I ended up going the following year. Um, but yeah, I honestly had no clue that it was actually going to be Maya and Anna. I mean,
Mhm.
I noticed like I was like, maybe they're just like telling stories about themselves, but yes, it is a story from their past, but it also like actually literally involves them. And I don't know, I didn't know like what to think of it when I first read it. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
But then like you see it all put together on set and you see it behind the camera and you're like, ah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really a unique perspective and it's probably the most like real experience of middle school you get.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's so funny because the reaction that you had as an actor going to audition and reading the script and being like, all right, this is kind of weird. It's like not something I've ever experienced before. And I don't know if this is going to work. I think as an audience, like that's what we think too. Like for me, I remember when Pen 15 season 1 came out and there was like an ad playing for it. And I was like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
I was like, it's full on adults, not even playing high schoolers, but playing middle schoolers. And
Mhm.
as a girl, like watching it, because obviously it's both female leads, I'm like, spot on. This is exactly what middle school is like, all of these experiences. And they both do it so well. And I think that has a lot to say for you too, because you're obviously younger than them in real life. But in the show, you play her brother and you have to kind of be older than her on screen. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that being able to like do that and come across right, it says a lot about not only you as an actor, but about that set and them as producers because they obviously made you feel comfortable and welcome enough to do that and portray it really well. So, I know that you said when you did the chemistry read, that's when you kind of found out that they were playing the roles and the leads. But I want to know, like, can you tell us what the auditioning process was like from the very beginning until you actually booked it and your first day on set?
I think I was like the summer going into like senior year of high school. I went in, I think I sent in a self tape actually. And then I got news that I got a call back. I was like, cool. So I went to that. That's when I first met Anna Maya. I thought I killed it. And I was like, yeah, this is it. I didn't hear back for like such a long time. So I was just like, oh man, forget it. It's all good. We're going to France. Yeah. And then like as I'm driving to the airport, my manager called me and she was like, hey, you got it. Stay home. I was like, all right,
All
cool.
right.
Cool. And then I just went in for a couple of fittings like that. They sent me a couple different versions of the script and just got prepared. And then first day on set, I think I was still under 18, so I was still doing schooling on set as well. And my mom came with me and everything. And I mean, everyone's super welcoming. Maya and Anna were super nice, and all the other cast was super cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a pretty smooth ride, to be honest. And
I
you know,
mean,
that's not a bad thing at all. It was, I'm super thankful that it was.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I think a lot of times, especially with self tapes, I mean, I know now it's different for actors because with COVID, many actors are doing self tapes, but I think a lot of times you almost feel like at a disadvantage when you send in a self tape because you don't have the in person chemistry with casting and things like that. So when you sent in the self tape, were you like, all right, like I'm just sending it in to see what happens, but not getting my hopes up? Or did you send that tape in and you were like, oh no, I got this, like in the bag?
No, I feel like with self tapes, you never really know what to expect because you don't even get to meet the casting director. You know, you don't get to see their faces. I mean, I think the only like plus would be you get to do as many takes as you want.
Yeah.
You get to look over it, watch, and be like, "Nah, I didn't like that part." So you really get to nitpick yourself. But yeah, with that self tape, I mean, it was pretty easy for me to pick up on the role just because I have a younger brother that was pretty much just like my went through the same experiences, and I was not gonna lie, I was a total asshole to my brother because we had that like 3-year age difference.
Yeah.
So it was just constantly butting heads 24/7. Obviously, like him and I are probably closer than we've ever been, but yeah, I had a little bit of confidence just because like I felt like that was me. I mean, I wasn't like really that cool, but I understood the brother and sister relationship that they were having.
Yeah, right. I want to know, obviously being so young and being on a set that's that big. I mean, at this point, the show was on season 2. It was already on Hulu, which is huge as an actor getting booked for something like that on a streaming service. And you're surrounded by honestly icons in the comedy world. What was the best lesson you took away from the set or the people around you in comedy specifically?
Something that I noticed is probably like season 2 is how serious Maya and Anna and everyone was taking it. Like, yes, they were messing around. Obviously, there's moments where we're relaxing and laughing, but when it came to like their lines, they always came to set prepared, having everything memorized. They knew what they wanted to do with it. They had like ideas. Like they were just overall super prepared. Like every day to come to set and be like, "This is what we're doing." Having tons of ideas and being open to new ones and being able to like be ready for a quick change like on the spot. I think some people like, I'm not talking about anyone specifically, but I just feel like as an actor, like when you get a job, there's definitely like a big relief. You're like, yes. But I think it's important to also keep that mindset of when you're going an audition or preparing for it to keep it until you get to set and the day is over.
Right. Like, don't just let go of it. Your
Yeah, like you got
drive.
to give it your full effort, even though you have the part. And I think a lot of people tend to um, just take that for granted.
Yeah, they work really hard and then they show up and they're like, whatever, I got it. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard stories of people getting a job, showing up to set, and then boom, they're not there anymore.
yeah. I mean, I've heard
So
stories like that too. And I've worked in production and I will tell you that that is very true. I mean, there are people, you know, when I worked on a live television show, there were people who begged to come on our show, actors, actresses, singers, and we would go through the whole process of booking them and they would be so responsive. And then right when they were supposed to show up, it's like, we wouldn't hear from them or it'd
yeah.
be so hard to reach them.
Mhm.
So having a good work ethic definitely, especially when you're around really big names like that in the industry, they notice that. And that's what
Oh
is going to get
yeah.
passed along and make it easier for you to get roles in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's also like how martial arts has translated over to acting for me is just overall like discipline, time management, focus, just hard work, just really grinding it out until it's like in my brain. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's like relax and take a break, you know. But for me personally, um, I have to sit down and I have to really dig into it.
Yeah. Tell me what your relationship with Maya and Anna's like now.
Right now, I'm not talking to them too much just because they're busy doing their thing. And I have school and all that fun stuff. But when I was on set, it almost felt like they're mentors. I was asking a lot of advice because I just I don't know if it was last year, 2 years ago, but I just signed with CAA, and
Yeah.
it was that between them and another agency, and I really just wasn't sure. And I always have auditions about auditions, questions about the sides and things like that. If there's any particular way that they want me to do it, but it felt good to know that they had confidence in my ability to play Shuji and that they trusted me and my instincts. And if I had any input, they would always try it out. And I don't know, it was like a nice mutual respect. Obviously, I was like, "Holy, you guys are gods!" But it felt like they believed in me and also my career in the industry, which meant a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So during the time when you were playing, like, I guess filming, you said that you were still in school. So you were studying on set. And now you're studying civil engineering, and I want to know, I mean, acting is like one thing that is so time consuming, and then college is another thing that is so time consuming. As someone who just finished it, like I don't know how you're doing both. How do you manage your time when you book a role but still have to study, or when you're auditioning for a ton of things but have like exams or projects that you have to do for school?
So my first year of college, I think it was like every semester I ended up getting kicked out because I was absent too much. I just got a
You're
bunch
like,
of,
I'm not balancing it well.
yeah. Like I was like, dude, like I don't know what you want me to do. This is my job. And they're like, the school isn't a priority to you. And I was like, all right, sure. So I mean I was trying, but it's just auditions and work was building up and it became a lot to handle. So I was like, when it came towards last January and February, I was like, for winter and like spring session, I was like, no, we're taking a break. And then COVID hit and I wasn't signed up for any classes. So I was just sitting at home, like trying to like mow people's lawns and stuff. But yeah. And now all of my classes are asynchronous. So it doesn't require me to attend anything. I just do work on my own schedule, which is really, really nice.
The online classes have kind of helped you balance even
Oh
more.
yeah,
Like everything's
absolutely.
remote. So you can audition from home, you can do your exams from home and your classes from home.
Yeah, this is exactly what me and Seth were talking about in New York because we were like, we love it there. We hope to move there one day. And the main thing, like, keeping me here in LA is like obviously auditions. But if it stays online, maybe just spend a year in New York, come back, could be fun.
So, kind of switching gears, we're going to come back to acting, but I do want to bring this up. I talked about it earlier before our interview, and I just kind of want to talk with you about it. So, obviously, there's a lot of violence happening right now against the Asian community, which is absolutely ridiculous given everything that's gone on in 2020 and carried on into 2021. Do you have any advice for people who maybe are not part of the Asian community? How can they support and kind of show that they care and that they, are here to help?
Well, I think the first great step to take would be checking up on them, whether it's shooting them a text or giving them a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think actions like that can always be appreciated by anyone, especially on our mental health right now, not just physically. And second would be if you see it in real life happening, you got to do something about it. You can't just pull out your phone and be like, oh shit, look, it's happening. Like
Yeah.
and especially with our elders, that one hurts me the most because I got a grandma and honestly, I'm scared for her, but I think she's pretty tough. I think she could throw hands. Sorry,
Yeah.
I probably should have said that,
Don't come for your
but
grandma. No, yeah, I
um,
think with the Black Lives Matter protests that happened, this was something that I encouraged everybody to do as well. I took to social, I did it myself, and I talked about it on the podcast,
mhm,
checking in on the people that you love that are in your life, making sure that they're okay, and understanding that even if your family hasn't been directly affected or your friend's family hasn't been directly affected by the violence, it still is terrifying to know that you're a potential target or that someone you love is a potential target. So I totally agree with that. And keeping in mind that really the people who are under attack the most within the Asian community are the ones that are most vulnerable, which are the elderly. And that's
mhm.
crazy to me. I can't even believe we're having this conversation. It's so ridiculous, but it is a conversation that has to be had. And anybody who knows me in real life knows that this is something that I feel really passionate about. So I encourage everybody to take your advice and check in on their loved ones and their
Mhm.
friends until we can find some kind of resolve for this.
Yeah, absolutely. And um if there's any donations that can be made to specific organizations that can help fight this problem, I highly suggest that you guys go do that.
And I'm going to add some links in the show notes. So listeners and viewers have really easy access just to click the link and donate any amount of money to organizations that are set out to help this issue. Sorry for the derail. A little depressing, but
Of
we needed to talk about it.
course, of course.
The last thing that I am curious about is you have obviously had what you might consider like a breakout role in PEN15 and are studying, like we talked about. So your plate right now is very full, it's jam packed, but I'm sure you're not stopping because you're so young still. So what's next for you? Are there any projects coming up that you can talk about? Is there anything school related or move related?
I did work on a pretty decent sized feature. It's coming out this September. So it is a Marvel feature. I'm not the the superhero or anything like that, but I do have a role in it, and I got to work with some amazing people, and it was an experience of a lifetime for sure.
Yeah, that's like every actor's dream is to work on a Marvel movie and then stream on Disney Plus. Like
Yeah.
that's a quarantine dream for an actor.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, actually, now that theaters are opening up, it might even come out. It'll probably come out in theaters too. So
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Seth and
yeah.
I were talking about that, about theaters opening back up, and he was saying that that is the thing he's most excited to do when things open back up, which is my last question for you. What is something positive that you're looking forward to or positive going on in the world right now?
My grandma just got her vaccinations. I'm like so excited to see her. I haven't talked to her in so long. I haven't seen her in a minute, and she's been quarantining and staying home. And honestly, just excited to sit down at the dinner table and eat with her again.
I relate to that so much.
Family is so important, and especially right now, having a good support system to keep your head up through rough times, because it does get pretty lonely. Yeah, I'm just excited to see her and eat her food.
Yeah, can relate. Not to your grandma's food, but all right. Well, you have killed this interview. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you and find your projects.
My Instagram handle is Dallas_Lou. My TikTok, Dallas Lou. I only have 5 posts. There's like one quality TikTok on there.
I'm like, we're referring people to your Instagram and they're going to get there and just see that toe pic and be like, anyways, besides TikTok and besides Instagram, people can stream PEN15 on Hulu.
Yep.
Seasons 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else besides your new project that we will be on the lookout for?
I was a part of a Snapchat basketball series that you can check out. It's called Players. I believe it is 8 episodes. You should totally give it a watch if you're into basketball and teen drama. So
it's like everything, just teen drama right now.
I know.
Well, again, you've been amazing. I seriously appreciate you coming on.